How's it going, guys? I got a question here on my last video talking about the Mavic 2. This comes from Brian B, who asks, why is the horizon not level? Well, Brian, that is a question that has plagued DJI pilots basically since the start of time. So I got my Mavic 2 right here. I freaking love this guy. It's just such an amazing drone. But as you've seen with some of my footage already, the horizon is not always level. Now, this also has happened with my Phantom 4 Pro, which you'll see behind me over there, and even my Phantom 3 Pro still had that same issue where normally when you start up, everything looks fine. If you do a compass calibration and IMU calibration, everything seems to be looking normal. You take it up, you spin around, horizon is completely off. So with most consumer drones, you don't actually have the ability to turn the camera like this. You can only tilt and pan it. And the reason is because they want you to always keep it level. But as we figured out, it does not always perfectly line up with the horizon. Now I have an idea why this is, and then we'll go into some possible solutions so you can fix this problem. So to explain why I think the horizon becomes unlevel in most consumer camera drones, we'll first have to look at the DJI Ronin. So this is a much larger 3-axis camera stabilizer. It's meant for DSLRs like my 80D that I am filming on right now. So basically it's just a beefed up version of the gimbal that's on your camera. Now I love my Ronin, and I've only seen it happen one time where the horizon becomes unlevel. And it was in this situation right here. I was filming out of an airplane, filming another airplane, and everything seemed just fine until the airplane started to take a turn. And then when this happened, I think there's something to do with the g-forces of the plane turning and the gimbal needing that information to stabilize. And so when you change gravity, it's gonna screw up some stuff. Now the reason I bring this up is because I've seen with all of my drones, the Phantom 3 Pro, the Phantom 4 Pro, and now the Mavic 2, what usually happens is the horizon looks nice and level when you go straight up, but then after you turn the drone, the horizon becomes uneven. Now, I don't know for sure if this is exactly why the horizon gets off. There may be some other weird stuff going on, but to me, this is what makes the most sense. So now for some solutions, since we don't have the ability to turn the camera like this while it's flying up in the air, the easiest one for me that I use all the time is just in post-production. Scale up the image a little bit and then tilt it so the horizon is perfectly level. This works almost all the time, but that is kind of an extra step, and if you're doing all this on your phone, you can't actually do that. So a couple of things that you can do while you're flying is, if you notice the horizon is way off because you just turned, try turning the opposite direction, and that might counteract the turning and have it go the other way. That's kind of sketchy. It's not always going to work perfectly. The other thing that you can do is, I've noticed, especially with my Ronin M, is after about 30 seconds, it will level out after it kind of understands what's going on. So if you turn really fast and notice the horizon is off, maybe just hold right there for 30 seconds to a minute and see if that fixes the problem. It is a pretty slow process, which can be disappointing if you're shooting something that is very timely. That's kind of all I can think of. One more thing, if the horizon gets so far off while you're flying and you're not able to fix it with any of the previous techniques, go ahead and land it and then recalibrate the compass and the IMU. You can find tutorials online specifically for your drone on how to do each of those things, but for the Mavic 2 and the Phantom 4, all of that can be done in the DJI Go app. Alright, I hope this was helpful. I'm sorry that we don't have a clean and dry solution to fix the horizon. You either have to do it in post, or try to spin the camera the opposite direction, or just recalibrate all of your settings. I hope in the future DJI can make something like on the phone in the app where you kind of just slide it, maybe have a little slider, and then you can reposition the camera so it's perfectly level with the horizon, because that's really easy to see, especially if you put on the grid lines where you have like grid lines like this. If they had a little slider so you could the camera, that would be amazing. In the future, maybe. Thank you for watching, and as always, don't forget to keep it pro.